Oh. Aloha. This is Hope Johnson coming to you with a live stream. Isn't this fun? Yay. So I got a question today. It's another really fun question about responsibility. I often say there's no personal responsibility, no responsibility for your life, no responsibility for worldly things, for anything in particular. And then also there's total responsibility. That's responsibility for everything that's arising in your perception, everything all at once. So, the duality comes in when there's responsibility for your life, let's say, or the life of another person, like say the life of a child. That's where the duality comes in, because then it seems like things from outside of your mind can affect you. Okay? And then you have to take responsibility for that. But what's going on is what you call your life and also everything else that seems to be around you, it's all one thing. It's all one perception. And everything that's arising in the perception is arising for you so that you can see what it is that you're holding against love. And when you take the total responsibility, when you accept total responsibility, you have responsibility for it no matter what. Okay? For everything that arises in the perception, because that's being projected from your mind. Everything that you can perceive, everything, the world, everything, being projected by your mind. So whether you want to accept responsibility or not, you have responsibility for it. And when you accept responsibility for it, that's when you can start to unwind this thought of separation, this thought of you being a victim to things that arise in your world, in your personal circumstances, let's say. And they're not really personal. Okay. So I had a friend ask me, hey, well, doesn't that make me a doer if I accept responsibility? Well, it's a lot different than that. It's, I guess you have to get the feeling of it for yourself. Okay. So what makes you into a doer is as if you can do something about it as an individual. Okay? Or as if you've done something, like maybe you've done something wrong. Maybe you've done something wrong, Of course, that's not possible. That kind of responsibility, okay? Someone's asking me, you have 100% responsibility for your choices. Okay, it comes down to, though, what is your choice? What choice do you have, see? You don't really have any choices in the world between worldly things. It comes down to a lot of simplicity here. Don't have any choices between worldly things. That's an illusion. Like, what color am I going to wear, or what boyfriend am I going to have, or what school am I going to send my kid to, or anything like that. An illusion of choice. That's not really a choice. You are 100% responsibility for your choice of whether you make illusions true or you choose the truth instead. See? So everything that arises in your perception is an illusion. That's why a choice between this and that is a choice for illusion if you identify with that. If you identify with that choice. Like if you make yourself responsible for your choices in the world. Okay? The choice that you have, the responsibility that you have is always right now. It's always just right now. Who am I in this? Who am I in this? Am I something in the perception? Am I an object in my perception? Or is this perception arising within my mind? Or better yet, projected from my mind? See? And someone says, truth doesn't exist, only your truth exists. Okay, so, if truth doesn't exist, then that means that you're not the truth either, are you? Okay, so, yeah. And I get what you're saying about your truth. And they're saying you are consciousness. Okay, that's cool. Consciousness isn't going to last forever, though. It's just the projection of a thought of separation. It's only projected. It'll be here for a while, but then time is an illusion. So it comes to you are the truth, and everything that arises in your perception is arising for you to recognize that. Okay. All right. Another part of the question that I had earlier was about denying the evidence. What do I mean by deny the evidence? That's basically if something seems like it hurt you, like it caused anything, even if it made you feel good or anything like that. Deny the evidence that it has any power to affect you. Just deny that. See, because everything that's arising in the perception is only arising to deny who you are, to make it as if you are an object in the perception. And as long as you're agreeing with that, that's feeding the underlying belief in separation and making it as if you are an object, as if you are vulnerable to worldly effects, making that more and more so. And that leads to confusion, that leads to nervousness and anxiety, because then there's all this feeling like you have to protect yourself from the world around you. When there's no world around you, it's arising within you. It's a projection. We know now, I guess the majority, maybe not, I don't know. But it seems to be pretty well known that nothing is solid. Yeah, nothing's solid. It appears to be solid, but really nothing is solid. So where is it coming from then? Who's got dominion over this? Who's got dominion over this perception? See? Whenever you admit that you're 100% responsible for everything that's arising in your perception, that means everything. You see something on the news, someone did something bad on the news or something. Yes, that too. It's not a fault thing. That's how the ego looks at it, like I'm at fault now because I saw this. Oh, this terrible thing happened. I must be bad. It's not like that at all. Nothing's happening. It's arising to present itself as if it's something separate happening outside of yourself. And the only responsibility in that is to get that feeling effect. Get that feeling effect so you can recognize, ask for a new interpretation. See? So you can recognize, however that works for you. It's a real individualized thing. So that you can recognize that nothing's happening. You can actually have the experience that nothing's happening. And in that, you're not engaging in that kind of energy anymore. You're not engaging in that victim mentality and making more illusions for yourself. So basically, you're shortening time instead of extending it more and more. The common way is to keep on projecting as if things are happening outside of ourselves. Oh, isn't that terrible? Can you believe what happened to me? No. And that's how time keeps on getting extended because, to the mind, you want more illusions. You just want to make more illusions. So that's, like your wish is my command, basically. And consciousness goes on and on. But when you will accept responsibility, it kind of blows your mind. One of my friends said, it sounds really, it feels really bad when I'm having a perception and I deny the perception. Okay, so this is not the case. You don't need to deny your perception. Your perception is your perception. Denying your perception, that's unworthy form of denial. Your perception is your perception. It's not, no problem with that. What I mean is deny the evidence. Deny that evidence in your perception that says that something is affecting you. Like something outside of you can have any effect on you. Or even something outside of you could have some kind of an effect on someone else that appears to be outside of you. When you admit that it's all coming from your mind, it kind of blows your mind. Because you instantly see that this thing isn't making you feel that way. This thing isn't making you feel that way. When you get the experience, you see that the feeling is making the perception. It's the other way around. It's totally backward and the other way around. That's how everything works. The feeling is there. That feeling, that troubled, even the good feelings in this illusion, they're troubled in some way. There's an underlying fear of not having that feeling. See? So in watching, and it's all coming from your sense of who you are, your belief in who you are is making a feeling reaction. And out of that feeling reaction, you're having a perception, a world perception. And thoughts are coming that are projecting as if you're a separate entity within the projection. And when you believe in those thoughts, they feed that underlying belief that holds up the world and makes you vulnerable to worldly effects. Thank you. I appreciate your comments. I love you. Perception is your subjective interpretation of data in a data stream. Lovely. Good way to put it. Lovely way to put it. The mind is like a computer. It's just like it's just input, process, output. Okay. Lovely. Consciousness is all that exists. Okay. The real truth exists in consciousness. Okay. Yeah, I understand where that's coming from. And, you know, I've got some stuff to say about consciousness, not really relevant in this video, but yeah, I'll be posting some more. Maybe I'll do one on consciousness. Let me just check if I have any more questions over on this Facebook page over here. And if you want to write me any questions on the live stream, please go ahead. Oh, there it is. So you are responsible for your perception. Well, yeah, no matter what, whether you accept it or not, you still are, because, you know, you are the one with dominion over the mind. Okay. And the mind is projecting this. The mind is projecting it onto the screen of consciousness. The screen of consciousness. The screen of consciousness is a temporary screen. The screen of consciousness arises because of the thought of separation. Once the thought of separation is resolved, there won't be any need for consciousness. Nothing always stays the same. You don't stay happy forever. You don't stay sad forever. Yes, that's right. It's always changing, isn't it? And when you watch the changes, you start to see that the fluctuations are fluctuating in your body's energy field. And when you take responsibility for everything that arises, every person, every place, every situation, everything, your mind learns that it's making it up. That's very important, because as your mind learns that it's making it up, the illusion gets resolved. The cause for the illusion gets resolved, and it starts to reveal reality. Okay. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you watching, and I'll be back to share with you again soon. Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.